Thank you so much for being here for the second session of our joint class of our four congregations called Queer Eye for the Bible. I'd like to start, first of all, just by apologizing for the little snafu in our syllabus. By the way, if you need a syllabus, they're at the back of the aisle there on that little pedestal. When we first imagined this class, we thought it was going to be on Wednesday evenings, and here at East Shore, we have this really cool thing on the first Wednesday of each month where we make dinner, and then we have worship afterward, we have classes and meetings, that kind of thing. We thought it would fold in really well. And then it got switched to Thursday, and then I completely forgot that that was in the syllabus, and it got printed, and sorry for the confusion. If you arrived and you're hungry, please know there's plenty of food in the back, help yourselves. Little housekeeping thing, we're gonna go a full 90 minutes straight through. So if you need to get something to drink, if you need to stretch your legs, if you need something to eat, if you need to use the restroom, feel free to go ahead and do that. There are restrooms down both hallways when you go out the doors. If you go down the hallway to the left, the restrooms are on the right. And if you go down the hallway on the right, the restrooms are on the left. Okay? So I just wanted to start by asking each of our panelists to introduce themselves and remind everybody which congregation they're from.
So I'm Seth Bryant from Community of Christ. Wow. All right, I'm Seth Bryant from Community of Christ. I'm the director of the temple just down the street, the Kirtland Temple. I actually want to point out on your syllabus, I've got the next session, and so I've got the next session, and if you look at the address on there, the address that's on there is for the congregation, which is across the street from the visitor center. I'd actually like to have us meet at the visitor center. So the address for that is 7809 Joseph Street. So it's the visitor center sits right at the corner of Chillicothe Road and Joseph Street, and we'll just meet there instead. So 7809 Joseph Street.
Good evening, I am Tina Green, and I am from the Congregational Church in Fairport Harbor.
And I am Ian Lynch. I'm pastor at Old South Church, just up the road from here. We are UCC Church.
So I know that we have folks who are here this evening who are from neither of those congregations, none of them. So just in case something comes up and we need to schedule, reschedule, or something like that, it'd be good to have everybody's information to contact you all, just in case. So I'm going to send around this sign-up sheet. So we're going to ask you for your name, your email address, and the congregation you're coming from, just so that we know, okay? So the format that we're going to be taking here is each evening that we meet, we're going to be looking at two different readings from the Bible. And the first one will be something that has traditionally been used to oppress LGBTQ people. And we'll unpack that. We'll learn a few exegetical skills, a few skills for learning how to analyze the text of the Bible. And then in the second half of the class, we're going to be looking at some completely different part of the Bible and do what biblical scholars call queer it up and look at it from an angle that you might not expect. So our first reading this evening, hopefully you looked at the syllabus and took a look at this beforehand. I'm going to start just by reading Leviticus chapter 18, and we're going to begin with verse 19. You shall not approach a woman to uncover her nakedness while she is in her menstrual uncleanness. You shall not have sexual relations with your kinsman's wife and defile yourself with her. You shall not give any of your offspring to sacrifice them to Moloch, and so profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. You shall not have sexual relations with any animal and defile yourself with it, nor shall any woman give herself to an animal to have sexual relations with it. It is perversion. Do not defile yourselves in any of these ways, for by all these practices the nations I am casting out before you have defiled themselves. Thus the land became defiled, and I punished it for its iniquity, and the land vomited out its inhabitants. But you shall keep my statutes and my ordinances, and commit none of these abominations, either the citizen or the alien who resides among you. For the inhabitants of the land who were before you committed all these abominations, and the land became defiled. Otherwise, the land will vomit you out for defiling it, as it vomited out the nation that was before you. For whoever commits any of these abominations shall be cut off from their people. So keep my charge not to commit any of these abominations that were done before you, and not to defile yourselves before them. I am the Lord your God. So I want to repeat verse 22. This is the one we're really interested in this evening. You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. Now Leviticus chapter 20. We're going to start with verse 10. If a man commits adultery with the wife of his neighbor, both the adulterer and the adulteress shall be put to death. The man who lies with his father's wife has uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall be put to death. Their blood is upon them. If a man lies with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall be put to death. They have committed perversion. Their blood is upon them. If a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall be put to death. Their blood is upon them. If a man takes a wife and her mother, also it is depravity. They shall be burned to death, both he and they, that there may be no depravity among you. If a man has sexual relations with an animal, he shall be put to death, and you shall kill the animal. If a woman approaches any animal and has sexual relations with it, you shall kill the woman and the animal. They shall be put to death. Their blood is upon them.